Vào lúc 7 giờ tối, ngày thứ Năm 31 tháng 3 năm 2011, một buổi hội luận về chiều hướng phát triển cộng đồng cho thập niên tới được tổ chức tại Thư viện Thomas Jefferson thuộc thành phố Falls, Virginia. Buổi hội luận do Văn phòng Xã hội quận Fairfax phối hợp với Ủy ban Cứu người vượt biển Boat People SOS dưới sự điều hợp của tiến sĩ Emmy Trang và thuyết trình viên là tiến sĩ Nguyễn Đình Thắng. Chúng tôi xin nói rõ, danh từ cộng đồng ở đây là cộng đồng người Mỹ gốc Việt nói chung, chứ không phải có nghĩa là tổ chức cộng đồng vùng Hoa Thịnh Đốn, Maryland và Virginia. Thành phần tham dự buổi hội luận gồm có các tổ chức và cá nhân đã lần lượt nêu ra những nhu cầu cần thiết và tối ưu trong chiều hướng phát triển cộng đồng. Đặc biệt là sự hiện diện của rất nhiều người trẻ quan tâm về phát triển cộng đồng. Kính mời quý vị theo dõi.
And as we do this, I'm going to take notes. So I'd like you to tell me who you are, your title, and the organization that you're affiliated, or if you're just representing yourself as a community member, that's fine too. And I'd like you to tell me one thing that you think that is a needed service, either it's existing or has not yet been developed. The second part this evening is we'd like to invite Dr. Lanh and Hang from Boat People SOS. You can stand, everybody put your notes up. The important thing about tonight's meeting is intergenerational. We want to hear the feedback from people of all ages because we want to hear the different generations' idea of what is important for the community. It's not limited to people who have lots of experience. We also want to hear from those who may have no experience.
A strong structure. We need strong leaders and strong leadership among different organizations so that we can address our issues.
There still needs to be people, more leaders raising up to raise awareness, more leaders taking seats in the political arena, just more leaders, just really raising up.
And I believe youth are the future of our generation, and if I can mentor them, teach them right from the beginning, they will become a great person.
I believe we really need more leaders in the community.
Giúp cho người ta ổn định tinh thần, ổn định cũng như gia đình.
They can either organize or try to arrange their problem by themselves, or one day they can come to us.
The kind of the thing that I'm looking for, that I'm interested in, is kind of a strategic vision for the Vietnamese community, going forward.
So I'm looking to various issues like maybe getting funding for the school to see whether they could maybe rent out space, get subsidy from Fairfax County to support language programs and things like that. I think that would be very helpful.
Hoping to have one at some point in the future, so I'd just like to learn, hear more about the needs of the community in that regard.
So if we have more Vietnamese more classes for young generation, and we have more in this class, we have how like the older people.
I'm the chairman of the Vietnamese community, Washington D.C., Maryland, Virginia. As a community leader, I see many needs for our community. So I think I'm here to better listen to you, to find out what your concern, and maybe I need your list right here.
My name is Tuong. I'm the coalition chairman of the Vietnamese Veteran Association. I'm here for intergenerational communication and also almost the same need, as the Vietnamese community in this area. Listen to you. What you have to offer? What can we provide? What can we do?
Tôi nghĩ một cái tình yêu cộng đồng phải đào tạo một cái thế hệ tiếp nối chúng tôi đó.
One of the things that I would like to see that the community might be able to provide is youth development, providing some sort of like big brother, big sister kind of program to promote our younger generation, to ensure that if they do go off track, we can help them, guide them to go forward to better track.
What I like to see more young people, middle-aged people, and old people taking a tough challenge and go work for the U.S. government.
The most important thing that is going to be a good future leader for the Vietnamese community.
It's really important to get this news out there because when you become involved with the community, you get opened up to a lot more resources. So basically increase awareness.
I believe that there's development for every age group. You know, as a youth, I had some development, but now, you know, post school, you know, career-wise, everyone always needs development.
With the young people more involved in the community, and then basically for high school or college students, we need to create like some volunteer opportunity for them to participate, involve them in the community, and then assume the key leadership role, not only within the Vietnamese community, but also like leadership in the mainstream.
A vision that is broad enough to embrace everyone who's concerned about, who cares about this community, for America and for Vietnam. There is also a need for infrastructure that is institutionalized enough to serve as a platform to carry out and execute that vision. And also there's a need for compassionate and ethical and effective leaders to lead those organizations and communities.
That I like to be able to bridge the gap and bring that to our community to help with all these concerns.
And having some mentors, financial mentors, to make sure that they get off on the right foot is a big issue. Reconciling with some of our wants to do nonprofit humanitarian work with the local community's anti-communist sentiment. If some of our students want to help with a medical program back in Vietnam, or maybe help with impoverished children, or something that has to do with Vietnam itself, it's partnering up with some of y'all for jobs and internships give a lot of college students hope. Maybe after they lose their first job coming out of college, they don't know what to do.
And I hope in the future, and more young people involved with the media, and we open the door, we welcome all of you and young generation came to learn about the media system.
Và các cháu là giới trẻ tham gia cộng đồng cứu để nghe, chứ không biết cái chuyện gì cả.
Our organization growth is limited somewhat by the lack of facility. So if we were able to get more facility, we'll be able to seriously grow our offering and serve more of the community. We need to work toward a vision that we can all embrace, that we can come together.
We need to sort of navigate through the legal system, and so I think there's a lot of areas that the Vietnamese community could be more knowledgeable about, sort of like how to start a business law, what to do, general ideas on what do they do when they get a ticket, and what should they do when they get a ticket.
Good evening. My name is Gun Lee. I'm the officer with Fairfax County Police Department. On behalf of all the officers, I'm very honored to be here. Officers that are representing your community, and we need a lot more who are bilingual, so that when you dial 911 and when you ask for assistance, you're going to see faces and the language that you are familiar with. And I believe that is so important for you all. I don't care if you're young or you're experienced, okay? You have the right to communicate with us, and you have a right to expect 100% best service possible. In order to do that, we need a lot more Asian law enforcement officers down here.
Trong training and placement for now.
Just start encouraging them to be better leaders and get involved in the
Thank you.
Hi, I'm young. I'm just here to listen. One service, the only service I think of is who's going to pay for all these services.
Yes, sir.
My name is Nicholas Wynn, and I guess I'm being myself. And
How old are you, Nicholas?
I'm 14.
14.
Or 15. I guess like a concern or like a community thing is like I don't really know a lot about like Vietnamese stuff besides like Paris by Night and Claw.
This is the truth. I've been waiting all night.
Yeah, and I think the only good way to get to like younger generations is like through Facebook because like I don't go on forums or blogs.
I'm with him.
Thank you for bringing him.
Oh boy! I cannot beat that. To say that I wish for the community is one. We need, the U.S. government pick May is Asian Pacific Month, and for us to think about the last generation that we left back in Vietnam.
The financial well-being of the community. So I think that is a very important.
Number one would be our unity. Whether or not we're united, whether or not we're supporting each other, or we take advantage of each other.
Discover how we can build a large coalition of leaders that are going to be able to meet all those challenges that you expressed, and both here in the United States and abroad.
So I think like talking about leadership, the younger generation, I think that we should make a connection between the young generation and old generation regarding Vietnamese culture.
Chúng tôi rất mong là thế hệ sắp tới còn trẻ đó vươn lên để mà tiếp nối những cái việc làm của thế hệ cha ông đã đi qua.
And then I guess the third one would be youth training and youth development, because I can see in 10 or 20 years Nicholas will be running meetings like this, and we need to prepare him and get him ready for that.
If everyone fights a little bit as a group, people will respect the Vietnamese community more. They'll say, well, let's not push them because they'll push back. I see it on an individual level. When people push back, people listen. People give up. People leave them alone. People prosper in a world where people don't push them around. So I'd say that's my comment.
You're going to list your priorities of all the needs based on what we've heard. And that means it's going to be a little bit more confidential. I'm going to ask you to list 3 priorities based on what we've already talked about. And then after I get the results, I'll again send a line copy and let you know the results. From that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the county side with the other departments, the planners, so that we can do small projects with people who are interested in the different priorities. So it's not the county works slow, so it's not going to happen overnight, but within the next 6 months you'll see some more communication from us. So part 2 is I'd like to invite Dr. Tang to address some of the needs, concerns, share best practices from his experience.
Tiếp theo là phần thuyết trình của tiến sĩ Nguyễn Đình Thắng. Trong đó có 3 điểm chính. Điểm thứ nhất, cần chú tâm đến mọi phương diện, nhất là nguồn nhân lực, tài lực sẵn có trong cộng đồng. Thứ hai, cần thành lập thêm các tổ chức chú trọng về điều nghiên. Phần thứ ba, cần đào tạo thêm những người lãnh đạo có khả năng.
There's a lot of corporations and nation building examples. First of all, we need the people, the individuals, to be aware of where we are, our strengths, our weaknesses, aware of the resources, aware of our responsibilities and roles, aware of our rights as well. So individuals to be aware is the first thing. And we are here, we are aware that there's a need in the community. We are aware that we can make a difference, otherwise we'll not be here. So we are aware, but not everyone is aware. We need to be aware that there's a need to invest in this community. Many of you expressed the need for funding, left and right, anywhere, in all the fields. But that is not the product, the result of our community's investment. for the past 36 years. These are the success stories of the individuals, of the families who work very hard to raise their kids, not the part of our community collectively speaking. We haven't done anything. Right? We cannot claim those as our successes. For a community to be strong, we need to have 3 factors. Those are called critical success factors. And this is not my invention. I studied a lot of other communities, studied a lot of corporations and nation building examples. First of all, we need the people, the individuals, to be aware of where we are, our strengths, our weaknesses, aware of the resources, aware of our responsibilities and roles, aware of our rights. So individuals to be aware is the first thing. And we are here, we are aware that there's a need in the community. We are aware that we can make a difference, otherwise we will not be here. So we are aware. But not everyone is aware. Second, we need organizations. Someone, Zoom mentioned that, well, we have a lot of organizations, that's true. But that's not the type of organization that I'm talking about. We need to have a lot more institutionalized organizations for our community. There are a lot of associations, but they're not sustainable. For every 200 Americans, there is one organization that is registered with the IRS, incorporated as a 501c3 non-profit organization. That's example. How many Vietnamese are there in America? Maybe let's say 2 million. How many do we need? How many such institutionalized organizations should we have to be the same power as the average American? 2,000. 2,000. Right? How many do we have right now across the country? No one knows. That's the problem. Very few, right? But no one knows. Even that, we don't know much about ourselves. But there has been no investment in learning about ourselves. How can we plan? How can we grow? How can we do all the wonderful things that we wish to do if we don't even start to know about ourselves? So we have very limited knowledge about ourselves, and we are very, very not so organized. And then finally, the third factor, be leaders. Who will make things happen? Who will execute all the plans, the big vision? Who will make that happen? The organizations, who will run the organizations? Who will grow the organizations? Who will kickstart organizations? The leaders. We really, really need to come together to do a few things, as mentioned before. First of all, is to create awareness of the needs to invest in our own community here and now. 2, is to build institutions. We need to build a lot more institutions, stable, sustainable organizations in different areas. And 3rd, to nurture leaders.
Phần thảo luận khá sôi nổi khi nhiều người đặt câu hỏi với tiến sĩ Nguyễn Đình Thắng về vai trò và vị trí của người lãnh đạo. Tiến sĩ Nguyễn Đình Thắng đã khai triển rõ thêm về vai trò lãnh đạo mà ông đang đề cập đến trong buổi hội luận ngày hôm nay.
Can I ask you a question? When you say leader, it's a very important factor in the military. Leader. What do you envision this leader? You talk about leader to run civil society project, leader to build organizations.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the definition of leader is very important here, because we call leaders everyone with some training. But for the purpose of this initiative here, 505 years, we define leaders as those who literally can take a group of people, a community, a nation, a corporation, from one point A, that we are not happy about, to point B, where there is the solution. That is the solution. So that is what I call a leader. You solve a problem. We face a problem now with poverty, for instance, or human trafficking. How do we solve that problem? So that leader will have to not only think of what we will achieve, will arrive at, but also can draw the path, how to get there, and build institution to sustain the efforts generation after generation after generation to eventually get there.
I agree with Colin and Tuong over here because myself I'm confused. You have to define more clearly what kind of leader it is. Community leader, what kind of leader are we talking about here? And I'm really,
thank you. Leaders theo định nghĩa mình cho cái chương trình này là những người giải quyết được một vấn nạn lớn của xã hội, hoặc là của một cái tổ chức, hoặc là của một công ty. Nhìn được cái vấn đề ở đây và có thể đề ra được giải pháp. We don't have enough people with solutions. We have a lot of people with a vision but don't know how to get there. And that is the problem.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Một người có thể có cái vision, nhưng mà more than that things, how to get the vision
the solution.
To work, the solution and make it work.
Yeah.
And how far can we go? Because it's not on its way. Just like you are a leader, you go from there to there. How much can you go? How far can you go? That's the main point. But so the community leader, nó phải làm cái gì? When you get together, how do you do that things?
So that's why it will be a 4-year training program.
Yeah.
You're going to have a whole bunch of leaders, right? No follower and no manual skill.
You're absolutely right too.
We don't take all.
You're absolutely right too.
You don't take all the guys in the army and you train them to become an officer, a lieutenant, and call them a leader. They follow us just like everybody else.
And you're absolutely right.
20 years, still follow somebody.
We are on the same page. Here's, let me try to describe it a little bit more in detail. Hopefully we'll clarify things.
Okay.
The leadership training will be 1 full year. Okay? I will select people like this. Then first of all, as I shared with you before, the basic criteria would be 1, character, 2, commitment, 3, integrity.
My understanding, leader something like you don't have to be a leader all the time. In some situation you can be a leader, but like in other situation you can be a follower. I think like my understanding about leader is you are a person who deeply like involved in the Vietnamese culture. You want to pay back, you want to help back the Vietnamese community. You don't have to work for some, you don't have to work for the Vietnamese organization or something, but then you just want to help back the community. You can have a full-time job, but you might have the knowledge, the expertise to solve a specific problem that the Vietnamese community is facing. And then like in that specific situation, you can be a leader. You can help out all the Vietnamese people to solve the problem. But then like if you don't know, then you know people who can actually do the work. It's called networking. And then in other situations, you can be a follower. Somebody know how to do, how to solve a problem, and then you can participate, help out. I think that
or do you want them to die out, or how do you want to do with those leaders that have pet projects that they really want to push for, but they're not sustainable past maybe 5 years?
That's why we need training. We need to train leaders who can make that happen.
Only then will they actually want to become a leader. And I feel like that's just something that we're kind of missing. We can't just be like, hey, we want you to become a leader, so here's what you have to do. We need to give them the drive to become a leader as well.
That's very, very true. But facing that situation, all we can do, in terms of being practical, is to start out with those few who already care, who already wants to become leaders.
What you are doing right now is very good, but we will talk more. I will be there, and Tuong will be there. We got a few of what I consider the future Vietnamese American leaders that are very well famous within the American society. That once we establish this, we need to invite them there to bring in the audience.
So I think if there are great efforts to promote, pride in our community, then we would get together and do more things like this. As a, rather than each person sort of doing his own thing and being successful, PhD this, PhD that, and so forth. But it doesn't really count in the grand scheme of things when talking about an ethnic group.
We need a train more leaders so that they can be spokespeople for the community, so that we can bring this resource home to them, so that we can bring these skills home to them. Because America, why are we attracted to America? Because America has so much resource. Why aren't our children trained with the same resource that the Americans have? So we need to go out there and get these abilities and bring it home.
Cuối chương trình, tiến sĩ Amy Trang cho biết tôi sẽ gửi bản đúc kết buổi hội luận tới các tham dự viên và sẽ phối hợp với quận hạt Phai Phát để thực hiện những công tác theo nhu cầu mà các tham dự viên đã đề ra. Ngoài ra, nếu các tổ chức cần địa điểm để họp, quận hạt sẽ cung cấp kể cả những phòng họp lớn hơn có thể chứa đến 300 người.
You can always email me if you need to have a meeting space like this or in other areas, up to 300 people. That's what we can accommodate. We've been trying to help organization, but other things that you need, in terms of resources, the county has a lot. Leverage those resources.
Would you be able to hold something like this every week? I had to travel on my official duty too, but I like to see people come here because you got to be able to bond together before you can move the first step.
Tiến sĩ Nguyễn Đình Thắng cũng ngỏ lời mời tham dự 2 buổi sinh hoạt vào ngày mùng 2 tháng 7 năm 2011. Thứ nhất, National Summit of Vietnamese American Leaders. Thứ hai, Both People SOS 30 Years Anniversary Gala Dinner.